My name is Victor Sims. I grew up in the state's foster care system. Growing up, I thought it was normal. I remember going into kindergarten, and it was my third school. I went and I told the class, I said, "Hey, I'm new here. My name is Ulysses Smith. I changed homes, and you're all going to change homes too, and we'll all find our families later on in life. But right now, this isn't your forever family." Instantly, the whole classroom started crying. I didn't understand why they were crying. I thought they were all, crybabies for kindergarten terms, and I just didn't understand it. Got in trouble with my teacher, and obviously went home and had a conversation with my foster parents. It was then when I found out that my life wasn't the same as everyone else's. The nice part about that is my case manager wanted to make sure that my life seemed as normal as possible. She wanted me to be able to envision and to live a life that didn't worry about those little small things that end up being big things. But she made me feel like there was nothing wrong and that I was okay. It's the same thing that happened when my case manager decided that because I wouldn't eat at new foster homes for the first 3 days, that she'd come and deliver McDonald's. That story's not unique. It's not different. It's the story of hundreds of thousands of foster care workers all across this country. It's those stories that make us different. It's those stories that make us better. It's those reasons why I decided to become a case manager myself and ended up working in this field and working my way up to a case manager supervisor. It's the story of those case managers, like some of my coworkers who decide to sit with a child with COVID-19 and having to quarantine away from their own family. What I realized is people don't do this just because it's easy or just because, they have a degree. They do it because they care. They do it because they want to change the way that a child views this world. My case manager was able to do that. You're able to do that. We're all able to do that. What makes this very unique is I grew up in the foster care system for 11 and a half years. I went home to home, school to school, church to church. But nowhere in there did I lose my humanity. Nowhere did I lose hope. Because those surrounded by me had hope. The case manager had hope. Her supervisor had hope. My teachers had hope. Even my foster parents had hope. And because of that, I had hope. I had the hope that one day I'd be able to say, I have a family, that I belong. I'm a huge believer that everyone has a place and everyone has a reason. I'm excited to be able to thank you all for the work that you all do. I'm excited to say, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be who I am today. Somewhere on your caseload, somewhere, you're serving someone who wants to be just like you. Someone that just wants to have a heart. Someone that wants to give back. And someone that just wants to show love. I take time and I think about my case manager, Georgia Robinson. And I think about all of the times that she decided to be more than what her job description said. But she understood the additional duties as assigned. Some of those assignments weren't from her supervisor. Some of those assignments were actually from me. I want McDonald's. I'm not going to eat here. What did she do? She understood that I assigned her to provide me food. She understood that I didn't want to change schools, so I assigned her to make sure that she fought for me to stay in the same school. That additional duties as assigned, I found myself locked in that specific line item in my job description as a case manager supervisor. Not knowing what I'm going to do or what I'm going to have to do, but knowing that I want to do it. I didn't really understand it. I didn't understand how she had a family and she got to go home to it. But what I realized is somehow I was a part of that family because no matter what, I was always on her mind. When she went home, when she couldn't sleep at night, it was because I couldn't be adopted. When she's at home playing with her own family, she's going around thinking about people like me. I know she had to think like that because I think like that. I know she thinks like that because you think like that. One thing that remains constant and one thing that remains true is the social part of social services. The child well-being part of child welfare. The human in humanity. We're able to do that for almost 500,000 children all across this country. And we do it even through a pandemic. We show up. You show up. You show up for those who are in the hospital with COVID. You show up with those who struggle to find placement for teenagers. You show up for those parents who've lost all hope. Somehow you continue to show up. And for some reason, you'll show up again tomorrow. It's those reasons. It's those reasons why we know that we have a better generation to come. Because you're investing in them. Because you're there for them. Many times we say we get in this field because it's, families, it's children, and we want to make an impact. Working in this field, the biggest impact I've had actually isn't with the children I serve, it's within myself. It's me knowing that I've been a better person because of case managers like you. It's easy for me to walk around and say I've made it here on my own because I was in the foster care system, but that would not be true. It's because workers like you believe that it truly does take a village. It takes a village to raise a child, but most importantly, it takes a village to influence a community. We continue to show up. We continue to show our heart. We continue to cry. We continue to love. And when those days get tough, we go back home and we try to recharge. I look at McDonald's and what McDonald's meant to me. What McDonald's still means to me. McDonald's means love. It means someone cares. It means someone's going to show up. But most importantly, McDonald's shows me that there's a case manager behind there that cares. So many of us go around delivering that McDonald's for a kid in between placements. Some of us do it for that child that just recently got removed. But we do it because we want to provide that sense of comfort, that sense of love, that sense of normal. You see, back in 2016, I had the opportunity to advocate for normalcy within the child welfare system. And obviously, normalcy in my head at that time was truly a phone. It was being able to have a phone plan. It was being able to get a computer and be able to have a Facebook page. But normal is more than that. Normal is having someone that cares. Normal is having someone that continues to show up. And somehow you do. I know you cry. I know you want to give up sometimes, and I know the pay isn't the reason why you're in it. But I do know that whenever you're able to take time to look back on the impact that you've had, what you've truly done is invested it in another life. Invested in a life like mine. A life where I wasn't loud and I wasn't vocal that I wanted to be a case manager. But when I did join this field, when I did join your team, what I truly understood was family. I've always had a family because I've always had someone that cared for me. It may not look traditional. It may not be what society calls as family. But it's you. It's people like Charles Montoya Archer, who decided, let's bring racial justices within the child welfare system. It's people like Matt Anderson, who says family is more than just who we are. It's people like Angela DeVore, who says high-risk youth, there's no such thing. It's youth that need more of us. Every day I get up and I have that hope. I have that hope to be just as great as my case manager. I have that hope to one day have the opportunity to look back and say, I have impacted at least one life. I have that hope because of people like you. I'm a beacon of hope, not because of my name or because I got adopted. I'm a beacon of hope because of those who've invested in me. I'm a beacon of hope because you continued to get up. You continued to show up. It's not an easy thing. We know that because every week we walk into our jobs and people are quitting, but somehow you're showing up. And you're not just showing up for the paycheck, you're showing up for me. You're showing up for stories like mine. I thank you for all the work that you put in and who you are. Because every child needs someone to show up. Thank you.